What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Bond's Apartment YouTube video. I'm actually at Gathero, and I've got an unbelievably special guest with me. This is Gavin, CEO of Penfold Golf, hence the Penfold.
That's right.
What's up,
Good to see you.
I mean, we literally met. This is going to be super laid back. We're going to do a David Zaritsky type video. We met not even 10 minutes ago. We've spoken.
Yeah, that's
we've
right.
Texted. We've kind of done some work together. I've done, review on some Penfold stuff, which of course I love. But now we're here.
Now we're here in the middle of Pennsylvania. Yeah.
So, what brought you to Pennsylvania? You are originally from the UK.
Yep.
How long have you been in?
I've lived here for 10 years. It will be 11 years into May next year.
I actually didn't know that.
And my wife just reminded me today that we started dating 9 years, 2 days ago.
9 years.
I forgot.
Congratulations.
Didn't work. Yeah.
Well, the
I
dating
remember the wedding date.
Yeah.
That was that's the key part.
Miss Gavin. Don't be so hard on the guy. Come on. Okay, so 9 years
I'm not going to show this.
with your wife. Married
yes,
for...
that's right. Yeah, we've been married for 8. No, sorry, 7. But yeah,
kids.
Coming on to 8. Couple of kids. Yeah, we got a 6-year-old Luca and a 2-year-old Logan. So
nice.
that's why I got bags under my eyes and I'm tired.
Oh,
but,
it's good.
It's good. It's good. They're beautiful little boys.
Yeah,
and very settled down near Philadelphia and about 45 minutes from here.
Good. So not far drive.
Not far at all. No.
Young boys in the golf yet? Or?
Lucas hit some golf balls, but he's playing football at the soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
World Cup is on right now.
Yeah,
so it's actually for the moment it is also football.
Football
Here because of the World Cup. We pretend to act like we know. What we're talking about.
And unfortunately, the US did just go out tonight. Unfortunately, but
I didn't even watch.
So did Australia.
Shocker.
So we're losing a few, but we'll see if England can do the job tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
So as far as you prior to Penfold. What kind of catapulted you to the position that you're in with Penfold? What did you do prior?
So, it's kind of like a twisted story. I mean, I turned professional in squash when I was about close to 17. I basically decided that I was done. I studied sports science, on a 2-year, what is known here, in your sort of years in grade 11 and 12.
Oh, okay, so high school.
So we leave school in grade 10, effectively, and we can choose further learning or stay at school for grade 11 and 12. Or you can go to specific college learning where you learn a specific trade. Okay. Or you go into a trade like plumbing or electricity. Lots of that in the UK. I went to college to do sports science specifically. I wanted to be a physiotherapist. Obviously played squash, there's a big background there, but
he's in incredible shape.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sitting really
nice and tight.
Yeah.
I just got towards the end of that year 2 or middle of the year 2 doing sports science, and I was like, you know what, and you can do this at that point. I was like, I'm just going to focus on squash. So I took my coaching qualifications young and early, 17, 18.
Okay, so you're...
So I knew that I would usually utilize that after I finished playing. Mm-hmm. And that's ultimately what I did. But somewhere in the middle there, I got caught up coaching for England squash, and at the time where I was based, we were helping coach Exeter University squash team.
Yes.
And it so happens,
school.
Yeah, a very, very good school, top 10 in the UK at the time, school. I ended up then taking my foundation degree in business at the school. Okay. While coaching the team.
So kind of transitioning a little bit accidentally.
Yeah, I think that, I had this rib injury. It was a really weird one. Still have it to this day. I think it's like a scar tissue issue from a pulled muscle in my abdominal. And that kind of changed my course. My mum's been involved in fashion. Okay. So it was a natural kind of thing. And then I went back to squash after doing that. Yeah. And, kept on going. Found myself in Calgary, Canada in 2010. And then found myself in Philadelphia in 2012. Yeah. So that's where I stayed, and that's where I was really just... Yeah, I know. Well, there's a lot big squash scene in Philadelphia. So
really,
yeah,
actually, that doesn't surprise me. They like polo, and they like their kind of
Yeah, it's a
sports
you know,
like that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a private school type sport over here, and for squash players, you know, there's more money in coaching over here than there would be anywhere else in the world. Really.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a way that you come. You know, I was playing the North American circuit at the time in Calgary, but when I came to Philly, that was pretty much the end of the playing.
Okay.
You know, it was all about carving a career in coaching effectively.
Right.
But for me, I wasn't going to stay in coaching until I was 45, 50 years old, you know, breaking my back.
Oh, yeah.
Coaching, you know, non-stop. I love the coaching, still do. I still do some coaching now with some kids.
Okay.
That only a select few that want to come to me.
Like a private.
And I love it, yeah. It's great fun. Still coach and help with the high school girls team. It's just
very cool.
It's what you know, you feel comfortable with, it's fun, I enjoy it. So while I still enjoy it,
it's your
might
passion.
As well continue to do
now
it.
you can do it in a way where it's not so.
Now I can do it in a way that it's actually more enjoyable.
Yes.
Because I don't have to sort of say, oh my God, like if I don't do this, I'm not going to get food on the table for my kids. You know, I mean, hopefully.
Oh yeah, I know.
as long as Penfold continues to grow, we'll be all right. But yeah, so I ended up somewhere along the line. I just come across the brand and reached out to Paul, who's the owns the brand, the whole Penfold brand at the time, and basically just said, look, you know, what's going on? I'd love to know more about the brand, and you know, it kind of fell on in his lap a little bit from sales of the brand, you know, going from this and this and this after us, like the 2000 era.
Yeah.
And he just was like, kind of fell on my lap, and we've done some bits, but we've not really done a lot. And I said, there's so much history that he didn't even know. Yeah. And I just researched so much, reached out to many people, finding out the story of the brand. And we were talking one day, and he said, why don't you try and expand us into the States, into the US?
Yeah. And you are in Philadelphia at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, I can definitely do that. You know, built website, rebuilt the brand, refurbished the brand, you know, took the UK website, redone that.
Yeah.
Ended up taking all the rights basically worldwide to the whole brand. And then here we are today, you know, to where we are.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the history of the brand. Expand on the history. I mean, I'm assuming most of my viewers know, I'm a huge golfer. I've been golfing since I was probably 5 or 6 years old. Yeah. And, you know, it's only been, 15 years? So, but when I even started reading, like, you know, you were really kind to send me some Bond stuff a few months back. And before I did my video, which I'm sure people have watched, but I wanted to be as knowledgeable as possible when doing this review. And I was surprised with some of the players that use Penfold because, of course, as a Bond fanatic, I knew that it was in Goldfinger, and it's not just he plays golf in Goldfinger. It's literally, oh, that's my Penfold Hearts. Like, it's product placement, even in the 60s, with a golf brand, which is the only time that's happened in a Bond movie. So, as far as the history of the brand, who are some of the players you've had? Who are, you know, I know you guys sponsored a tournament, I think, for a long time.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, basically we you know, obviously started in 1927. Albert Ernest Penfold. I mean, the guy is a rubber connoisseur.
Okay.
You know, worked for Dunlop at the time.
Yep.
Before 27, built the Max Fly golf ball as we know it today.
Yep.
Created the Max Fly golf ball. Also created the tennis ball as we know it today. Believe it or not. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of history in this guy that a lot of people do not know. Started his own brand, Golf Ball Developments it was called, when he started his brand, and he created 2 golf balls. He created the Penfold and he created the Bromford. And the Bromford was named after the area, and it was the factory was on Bromford Lane in Birmingham in the UK. And that kind of, you know, started it all really. Took it, you know, had the factory, built the factory in the UK, and then built another factory in the USA, in Brooklyn, in the 30s. So he had 2 factories. So he was really going after all of it at this point. You know what I mean? And then the war came, and this is a story, this unbelievable story. You know, things like the tennis ball, for instance, and then going into this stuff where a lot of people just don't know this. And then the war came. Albert Ernest Penfold was lost at sea. I can't remember the exact date. It might have been 44.
Like legitimately lost at sea. Or
What
like
happened was
confused?
he was returning from the factory in the US.
Literally physically out in the ocean somewhere.
Yeah, he was returning off the coast of Ireland.
Yeah.
And the ship that he was on was bombed by the Germans. And it went down. They lost all the crew, passengers. He was one of the passengers, which is mental. And then,
yes.
Obviously, the war and all these rubber sort of constraints and all this kind of stuff were impacting all business at that point. His son, Albert Penfold Jr., known as Dickie, took over the brand and had to export all the equipment from the US factory out. So they closed down the US factory because they couldn't actually do any ball making in the US at that time because of the war.
Okay.
Rubber was like restricted.
Yeah.
Brought all the stuff back and then had to rebuild the factory. The reason that they took the equipment was the factory took a direct hit as well.
Right, so they
lost all their equipment.
Wow.
So they had to bring it all over, replenish it, like you say, and then start again.
See, this part of Penfold is what makes it so special.
Yeah.
I think, at least in my opinion, I'm sure you agree. Like,
it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's an incredible story
Titleist.
that's not told.
Yeah,
it's not really known, and obviously it's a golf brand. It's an original golf brand. It's a beautiful golf brand that was well known in the 30s in the US, well known worldwide.
Yeah.
Massive in the UK, and then had the struggle, had to restart all over again. I know there was a boom in the 60s in the US. I mean, I still get messages today from guys from all over the country saying I played Penfold in the 60s.
Really?
It's incredible to hear that. Like guy in California just the other day, guy down in Alabama. I was in North Carolina wearing a hat, and the guy said, I used to play Penfold in the 60s.
How much of that do you think had to do with Goldfinger?
It's an interesting one, because obviously Goldfinger came out in 1964.
Right.
And that was when, obviously, Sean Connery had announced, here's my Penfold Hearts.
And an avid golfer.
Avid golfer.
Outside of Bond.
Outside of Bond, yeah. And, maybe, I'm not sure. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to sort of know a little bit more, but I think that there was a boom before that anyway. But then I think that really did create a huge boom, as we do know.
Yeah.
After the movie, everybody wanted to play Penfold.
So, just out of curiosity, do you know at all how Penfold got pitched with Bond and Goldfinger?
Yes. So Ian Fleming obviously wrote the book, the Goldfinger book.
Yeah.
He was an avid golfer, so obviously Bond is based off of himself in a way, isn't it? So he loved playing,
his alter ego.
loved casino games, card games. So you can only imagine that the guy has now picked up golf. And what it was is he was actually taking lessons from a golfer called Sir Henry Cotton over at Royal St. George's. So he was taking lessons from Sir Henry Cotton. Sir Henry Cotton was an ambassador for Penfold. He's a 3-time Open champion. Played Penfold. Only used Penfold after, I think, a certain era. And he said, this is the ball I'm going to use, and no other ball ever again.
Right.
We have beautiful posters and stuff of him.
Yes.
Legendary player. So naturally, he then discovered Penfold. Penfold was with the card suits for identification at the time.
Yeah.
And then it obviously wrote its way into the books. He played Penfold. Ian Fleming played Penfold, and then he wrote it way into the book with the golf scene.
It rolls off the tongue. That's my Penfold Hearts.
Yeah,
it's better than that's my Pinnacle 425, whatever. My title is 6.
The Penfold, the Penfold is mentioned twice in the book, maybe 3 times. I can't remember. It's a great little. If you're a golf fan, just to go and read that. It's actually a really great read. That part of the book. Absolutely. If you're a golf fan, it's fantastic. Yeah. So that's how it came about.
That's I didn't know that story. The thing that we talk about this all the time, but even as a kid, I was born in '91, so I'm watching Bond films. Of course, I got into Bond from GoldenEye video game, but there was something about Bond where once I had seen the movie GoldenEye, and then somebody, I don't know whether it was my brother or my parents, was like, well, there's 15 more or whatever before this, right?
Yeah. I know.
Even as an 8 or 9-year-old, I'm watching Goldfinger and Dr. No.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bond fans just kind of tend to be old souls.
Yeah,
And
it's
Penfold's history is, in my opinion, at least in the golf world, kind of unmatched.
No, it's definitely, yeah, it's not matched at all. I don't see any. You know, of course you got Dunlop. Of course you got Titleist. Titleist much later, not too much later, but in a different kind of way, and just not the same kind of story,
No.
not the same kind of connections to players. The way that the brand was sort of made and created from really nothing, from a gold sovereign, effectively in Penfold's pocket. So, you know, it's an incredible story.
It is. It is. So now that you're involved, what has that been like? And we'll talk about future plans and we'll talk about Bond, but for you, I mean, this obviously, from what you've told me, even just sitting here now, wasn't part of the plan, but now it is the plan. What has it been like since you've taken over?
It's been amazing. You know, we've achieved so much in such a short space of time that, you know, I think that a lot of people think that Penfold is a huge worldwide brand, like a Titleist, like a TaylorMade. And we actually had this conversation with somebody recently who wrote an article about all these emerging golf brands. And I wrote to him and I said, I'm sorry, but there's no mention of Penfold here, in the fact that we are a COVID era sort of brand that we've re-established ourselves. You know, where all these other brands are suddenly popping out of the woodwork. You know, a lot of them out of nowhere, and you know, just before that, and become popular in this golf boom. Penfold has been around forever. Yes, but we've re-established the brand. It's been re-established, you know, from basically right at the start of 2020, February 2020, and then March hit COVID, which is like crazy. I've been doing work on Penfold for 3 months before that. Just building website, you know, creating product ready for the launch in February.
And we are talking about not just a brand, but a sport or a business that actually boomed because of COVID.
Yeah,
all these new people.
Yeah, a lot of them, and so the guy who wrote the article had said, well, I kind of see Penfold in the same light as a Titleist and TaylorMade.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I wish that were true, and that we were in the same sort of business model as these companies. I wish that we were earning millions and millions and millions, because we could do so much more with the brand. But as it is, it's still very much a boutique kind of brand, and we take pride in that. Obviously, we take pride in the product. The quality of the product has to be absolutely amazing. We're not just releasing, you know, plastic products. We want to make sure it's up to scratch. We want to make sure it's the best that we can provide to the people that want to buy it. A lot of people might complain about the price of a $25 glove, but at the end of the day, the consumers, they don't understand how much we've paid for that glove, how much we've put into the detail of that glove, and how much we sourced the glove from one of the best manufacturers in the world. And they're not cheap.
No.
So we stick to our guns. We produce the quality, and unfortunately, but there are companies that aren't anywhere near as good as the glove that we have, that charge $35 for a glove.
That's
so
also true.
That comes down to, obviously, as you can imagine, like a G4 I can think of. You know, a G4 charge $35 for a colored glove. Well, I know it's nowhere near as good as our glove, but there's a massive marketing budget there.
Oh yeah, I mean,
huge money,
they'll do it.
And you know, that's what they can achieve out of that. We are not able to do that.
So, I mean, you touched on the quality of the product. I mean, even not to go too deep into this because we'll touch on it, but even something like this box of balls here. I mean, it's a 007 edition of the balls. Even just the packaging. I mean, yes, you look at it, you know, it's a dozen golf balls, but even just the material it's made out of, the thought that's put into the design. You know, I know this particular one in front of me is Bond specific, but I've noticed even with your clothing, I actually just ordered that vintage logo.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
I didn't see that.
I can't wait till it freaking comes in the mail too. But trust me, if it was here, I'd have it on. I would have it on.
I look forward to seeing
it would
you.
Have been awesome. But as far as the Bond merchandise goes, so of course Penfold Hearts was in Goldfinger, as we talked about. But you've released 60th anniversary stuff. You just released something, what, 2 days ago?
Yep.
How did that kind of establishment with Bond? Because I know you've had the Bond kind of approval for a while, but, you know, like I said, 60th stuff, and then 2 days ago, how did that happen?
I mean, so Eon reached out to us in early 2021.
So here is rare.
Yeah, well, you know, I had already done. Listen, I've been trying to call whoever I
You've been in their
possibly
ear
could.
for a while.
I was trying to get their attention. I called Danjak in California. You know, I was all over it. You know, I knew that the connection. You know, I wanted to do it because the history.
Yeah.
You know, Sean Connery. You know, just the movie itself,
Right.
like
Which no other golf
the nostalgia. You know, and Penfold was playing off nostalgia anyway already, and we still are.
Yes.
We still very much are. You look at our Instagram, I insist on posting historic posts along with modern posts. It's a part of the story.
Yeah.
I want everybody to know the story.
Yeah.
I want the story to be the forefront of people's minds when they're purchasing a Penfold product. So when they purchase a 007 product, it's great to know that they're buying a piece of history. Yes, it's a modern golf ball. Yes, it's a modern towel. Yes, it's a modern ball marker. But effectively, the story is behind it, and the story is on the back of this very box. Yeah. You know, and that's exactly why it's there.
Which,
you know,
of course, I'll show it. Yeah. I mean, there is no other golf brand that, and I think that can. I mean, it's first off, we know that there's no other golf brand associated with Bond. However, I mean, the story, like, are you trying to not only sell the story, but kind of tap into the nostalgia as well?
Yeah, all of it. Yeah, you know, it's all part of the part of the brand. You know, what we want them to know is that there's a storied history. They're buying a piece of history effect when, you know, they're supporting a brand that's been around for nearly 100 years, and they're allowing it to grow by supporting that brand and creating more history as we go. And then mostly, yes, the quality of what they're buying is up there as well. Yeah. And so when they actually are wearing a Penfold sweater that says Penfold, people recognize that as a brand with history and quality, and they're proud to be a part of that.
It's not just another golf brand.
It's not just another golf brand.
Yeah. So as far as now, and even in the last, I'd say year, at least for me personally, in the last year, I've noticed just so much more Penfold. Not even just merchandise, just marketing and involvement, and of course products, and whatever the case may be. What do you have planned for the future? Anything that you can actually discuss? Anything near future? You know, I want to get into like your kind of 5-year plan, but like I said, everyone knows I'm a long-winded, whatever. We'll get into it. But as far as the future of Penfold, what does the, I'd say, near future hold? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, look, all this stuff is massive for us. I mean, we have some really great things that we're working on, not even just 007 related. I mean, things are opening doors. I mean, obviously, with the bag, I'm just going to go back to the bag, and we just got contacted by Forbes, and Forbes are going to put that bag in their holiday gift guide this year. You know, I mean,
that's the perfect answer.
That's a huge thing for us to say. You know, Forbes have recognized what we're doing here. Maybe they'll recognize something else in the future. Maybe they'll recognize the brand itself. I don't know, but those little things are wins for us. And, you know, as you know, we did our collaboration with Seve Ballesteros, which is huge. The foundation, the gloves. We did the golf gloves, and we hope to bring out more gloves in the future that support his foundation. So it's not just about us. It's about the legacy of Seve Ballesteros and giving back to that legacy and his foundation in Spain. And that's massive for us. You know, so, it's a huge part of it.
And for the viewer, Seve is, I think any Spanish golfer would say, is that's their Tiger Woods.
I think that Seve's probably in everybody's top 5. No matter where you're from.
You know, your dairy player.
Oh my God, just unbelievable. And we sponsored Seve in the 70s. He won his first ever event with a Penfold. He won his first Open Championship playing at Penfold. You know, lots of history of Seve.
So you had Seve,
Nick Faldo, Garrett Player. We had a lot of the guys. And, you know, and that's leading into other things. So here's one thing for next year is that this is really exciting for us. We are going to be official partners of the Faldo series, which is massive. And the Faldo series is a series of events held in the UK and Europe, and expanding into the USA.
Is that a new series now that he's retired?
No. It's been going on for a while, but they're really going after it now.
Nice.
And we are going to be, and this is really cool. We are going to be re-establishing the Penfold Trophy, which the Penfold tournament was run from 1931 through to 1978.
Yeah.
Nick Faldo lifted the Penfold Trophy in 1978, and that was the last. We pretty much saw the Penfold Trophy after that, and then we.
Hopefully, that's not too.
Bond's arriving.
Oh my God.
So yeah.
Sorry about that. That is what happens when you do these things on location. With actually, you know what? When Gavin and I walked in this room, I'd say 50 people out there. There's probably 100 easily. But back to the Nick Faldo events.
Yeah.
So of course, Faldo was at one point in time using Penfold.
And he lifted the Penfold Trophy, and then we got chatting with I got chatting with Sir Nick a little bit before, and now his son who runs the stuff, and yeah, it's gonna be amazing. And what we are gonna do with that is that this event, the Penfold Trophy event, is gonna be one of their elite events, and the winner gets a wildcard position on the European Tour, which is just absolutely phenomenal. And then two runners-up get Challenge Tour start.
That's incredible.
As well. So I mean, it's just amazing, and to be able to say, to show these kids what Penfold did for Sir Nick Faldo, and then he won. That was his first ever event. He won,
really,
lifting the Penfold Trophy, and he won it with a Penfold ball too.
So it's completely.
But he showed me what ball. It's a Penfold GX100.
He has that ball still.
He still has
that.
The
Makes
ball.
sense. That makes
sense. He still
How
has
is Nick Faldo?
He's great. He's doing great. He's over in Montana. I mean, I haven't really spoken to him. I've spoken to his son, but yeah, he's doing really well. Happy with his little retirement. Yeah.
It's an emotional retirement for him.
It did look that way.
No, I'm just kidding. This video would get banned in the Golf Channel.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that I'm hoping to get to the Masters this year, and I hope to meet him and just say my dad has a photo with him when Tiger won it in '97. Really my dad went to the Masters that year, and he has a photo with Sir Nick, but he wasn't looking up. He was signing something, and my dad was like this, I'm gonna have to show him. I'm gonna show him that photo. Yeah. Be like, look, my dad was so disappointed.
Oh my God! Is your dad still with us?
Yeah.
You'll have to bring him.
I know. He'll love it. He'll love it. Yeah. I'll make sure I'll get a video message from him saying sorry.
Sorry about but hey.
But yeah, no, we got some great stuff going on with the 007 stuff. We got amazing things going on with another big retail brand that I can't really announce just yet, that we release next year.
I know who it is. Toys R Us.
Yes.
Absolutely not. No.
We are going to be releasing 007 by Penfold retail products.
Nice. That
will be available through the 007 store and Amazon.
Cool.
So
what about this December 1st drop? What came out most recently?
The golf balls. We just dropped a new ball marker that is based off of the design of the box, and a new towel. Okay. And then we have the tees that we had before as well. So it all sort of, that's our Penfold Heart 007 range. Before we released the 60th anniversary pouch, the bag, and the hat, which sold out. We completely sold out. But don't worry, there are going to be 007 dad hats available in the near future.
David's a big fan of those. I must say, and this is actually kind of it's not on my list of questions for Gavin, but I want to talk about that bag.
Yeah.
So it's a carry bag. So most golfers, most of the time, are in a cart riding or whatever. My parents actually live on the course, so a carry bag comes in handy if my dad's like, hey, it's nighttime, nobody's out here, or whatever. The price point some may think is high. I can tell you right now that it is not.
Yeah.
And I would say most golfers would know why, but explain to me why this carry bag is so What is so special about it? I know, but what is so
It's
special?
absolutely stunning. I mean, obviously we use the vintage logo, for example. It's got the metal plate, the 60th anniversary.
Yep.
It's limited edition. You're never going to see this bag again.
Right.
The metal poles have the vintage logo on. We based it off of Bond's black leather bag in the movie, so that's why we chose black.
Yep.
We chose the burnished saddle leather because of nods to like the leather chairs like M would sit in, and maybe even the one that Daniel Craig sat in his apartment, for example.
Spectre, yeah.
So a lot of like little nods like that. The red velvet cotton interior pockets are the Penfold red on the ball. So there's a lot of like little nods to it, but it's wax canvas, it's pure leather. All the detailing is pure leather.
Yeah.
So if you were to go and buy that bag from another company and it was made in the USA, it's a $1,500 bag.
Yeah.
And we sell those bags, the regular Sunday bags, for $29. So really, we could have said this is a $500 bag quite comfortably, I think, if we were really looking to do that.
Yeah.
But we don't want to do that. We want to be able to make it. We base it off of our current product pricing. We, of course, obviously, have to pay royalties on usage of the Bond logos. So we just base it off of that and mark it up accordingly.
I mean, this is the thing too. It's like if you're a golfer and you buy a leather bag, then you're buying a staff bag. You're buying a stand bag. You're buying a pros bag. Those are $1,500 bags. They're massive. They're incredibly heavy. Won't mention any names, but I know someone who's got one. It's me, because I think I'm good, but trust me, I've actually taken the bag. It's the bag I use most of the time, but when I play really bad, I'm like, I shouldn't have this bag. I look like an asshole. So this bag, with so much leather and so much thought put into it, then of course the Bond 60th anniversary, then it's limited edition. That's an incredible.
And it's great because it arrives in a box about this big, and they're like,
I saw that.
They're like,
I saw that.
Can't be my golf bag.
Basically, it's like a sleeve.
Because it's a soft fold, so it just folds up neatly and it goes, and
it's incredible.
Take it anywhere with you.
You guys are truly doing incredible.
Thank you so much. We'll try.
It leads me perfectly into my last question for you. So, like a 5 to 10 year, I'm not going to say plan because I'm sure you've got one drawn up and I'm sure it's borderline confidential. But what would you like to see if say you were, like you and I were sitting here again in 10 years, what would you like to rattle off that you were able to accomplish since the last time we sat here talking?
I think that, one of the main things, and I think that one of the main things that we'd all like to see is another golf scene in the next Bond movie.
Yes.
I think it's the right time. I think the boom from COVID for golf, there's numerous reasons. A nod to Sean Connery, to the anniversary of Goldfinger, to all sorts of reasons I can think of. That is the right time to have a golf scene in a Bond movie. And done right, done well, done classy.
Especially with a new actor.
Yeah.
And somebody else other than Craig probably could pull off golf.
Yeah, exactly. I actually don't think Daniel Craig would be able to pull off golf.
No.
If they choose another really jacked up
like
guy, I just can't see it.
Right.
And, Connery was that suave, athletic.
I mean, he looked incredible.
Yeah, so. That would be amazing. I'd love to say that that's what's happened. But, we also have goals outside of the Bond stuff, as in, maybe we'll sponsor another professional event one day. Or maybe we have professional players wearing Penfold,
PGA,
for example.
European,
Of course we're a golf brand, but we're also very much golf lifestyle.
Yes.
And we want to be able to show that there is the ability to wear your Penfold sweater and go out on a night out like tonight.
Yeah.
And yes, people know it's Penfold, but at the same time, it looks in the right place in the right environment at the same time. So we have a lot of plans in that sense.
I'm glad you said lifestyle because, yes, I'm sitting here with Gavin, and yes, we have texted, DM, and I've shared things and whatever, but on Black Friday, they had that sale, and I was like, I've been eyeing this sweater for like 6 months. I'm buying it. Like, their lifestyle side of the brand is incredible. So, of course, all the links, I'll flash some images up. All the links will be below. But
yeah, we're really excited about our clothing moving forward. We have some beautiful clothing. 2023 next drop is gorgeous, and yeah, it's just going to keep evolving. So yeah, very excited. Yeah,
incredible, man. Well, hey, Gavin, CEO of Penfold Golf. Thank you. It's
nice to meet you again. Yeah, absolutely.
This night is literally just getting started. The music keeps coming on, as you've seen. I literally went and ripped the speaker out of the wall.
Where's that music coming from?
I'm going to have to probably get billed for this, but Gavin, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah,
cheers.
You, buddy. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for watching. Once again, Gavin from Penfold, CEO of Penfold Golf. I'll put the website, the links, everything coming up. Keep an eye out. Big things coming. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next.